You may have seen a message in the chat box a few minutes ago saying that you were waiting for me to arrive. I shall put aside my lawyerly instincts of self-defense and say it was due to some kind of technical hitch. I did actually log in 10 minutes in advance, but kept getting blocked for some reason. So blame me not. Here we are anyway. Now, today we'll be resuming with Thomas Eginus. Oops, at the top of page 60. Sorry, 50, top of page 50. And this is one of those days whereby being visible on screen, you are impliedly volunteering to perform. Of the 29 participants, we only have less than 25% of volunteering to perform. I mean, I'm not that intimidating, am I? Right. Here we are. So let me share my screen. I don't need to do it quite yet. So, well, we're now down to 1, 2, 3, yeah, just 7. Right, the first on my screen is Mariano. So Mariano, would you like to do sentence 6A, please, which is on near the top of page 50?
Can you hear me now?
We can, yeah, I can anyway.
Unfortunately. So, Ashvai Saha Viraha Gachati. And after all the manipulations, it would be.
I think that in this class, I would prefer to hear you using the word sandhi rather than manipulations.
All right, I'll become a Sandinista.
Sandinista.
Ashvai Saha Viro Gachati.
Correct.
And it means Ashvai Saha with the horse. The hero Vira goes with the horse, which implies doesn't quite mount the horse, walks alongside the horse.
Very good. I'm glad you got that. I'm glad you got that complex distinction. Saha meaning with. However,
you're saying it is plural rather than singular.
You've taken the very words out of my mouth. By the way, what would it be if he was going with 2 horses rather than 3+ horses?
Now you catch me there. Bear a second with me because I got my declensions here.
You mean you haven't got this one by heart yet?
Well, I was studying Pali, you see, and then I couldn't find my Sanskrit stuff. But if it was a dual.
Do you know, long ago, I used to keep an excuse bank, all the wonderful excuses that I quickly call up and put in a letter. But the excuse that you were doing Pali, I suppose it's slightly plausible since after all we no longer have the dual number in Pali.
It is plausible. I don't have this.
I mean,
I'm not Pinocchio. So it would be probably Ashvabhyam.
Very good. Yes. Yeah. Not even probably, absolutely, definitively. Ashvabhyam sahaviro gacchati. Very good. All right. And the next one, your good self, Bill. Unmute, Bill. There we are. Yeah, got you.
Yep. Tatra Nrapaya Nara Gachanti. So there, the king goes for the king goes there for the man goes there for the king.
Very okay, right. So you were wanting to say the king goes, and you
Yes.
suddenly, what did you suddenly realize correctly that changed your mind?
Because I thought it would probably a king wouldn't bother going there for a man. Way around, it probably would work.
I say, okay, you got it by kind of logic and experience. But I was hoping that you get it because you'd immediately spotted that the nripa was in the dative case, nripaya.
For yeah, it's so it's now the king is after the verb, before the verb, so that oh no, hang on.
Just remember that in Sanskrit, most things are before the verb because the verb usually it comes at the end.
Yeah. So how do you judge which one's going for which there?
Well, you tell me.
Okay. So there. There for the man.
Remember,
there for the there for the king. Oh well, actually, it's pretty straightforward. I think there for the king. It's in the right order, really, isn't it? There for the king, the man goes.
Okay, so what can you tell us about the form of the word nripaya?
Yeah, nripaya. That's the dative.
Exactly.
Dative, yes. So it means going for, yes. So that's pretty straightforward, I suppose, isn't it? It's going for, yeah.
That's right. And you were talking about the man goes. Would you like to look more closely and correct yourself?
Let's see now. Let's have a look now.
You've got two clues there.
Oh, sorry. Yes, the men.
Mm.
Oh no. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Oh yes. The men go for the king.
That's right. Yes. What two clues tell you that it's men rather than a man?
It's the at the end the A and the H. Probably not using the right terms here, but they.
It'll do for the moment.
Yeah.
It's the long. It's nara.
Yeah.
Nara gachanti, and the anti ending. If it were singular, would be naro gachati, but plural nara gachanti.
Yes, singular would be different.
Right.
Ending, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, there we are, got it. Thank you, Bill. Would you like just to read it once more very smoothly?
Tatra Rapaya Nara Gachanti.
Right. Now, when you read it there, you read it first time round without the sandhi. Just read it now with the sandhi.
Okay.
And with the sandhi in this particular case makes it a little bit easier.
Okay. Tatra Nrapaya Naragachanti.
Naragachanti, yes. Remember the long R followed by the visarga, the subdotted H. Just the visarga drops off before a voiced consonant. Right. Ah, we have a hand up. Yeah, yes, Janet.
Okay, I had a question on this sentence, if I might ask. I don't know what happened to me. I don't understand this thing. Now I have no video. I don't know. I don't know where I am.
I'm now kind of, yeah, I wonder if your camera has got knocked sideways, because we're seeing what might be a ceiling.
You're seeing the ceiling, yeah.
Is it a ceiling or?
I'm so sorry. I don't know where I've gone. I don't know why it's changed. I can't see.
It's either a ceiling or an anatomical drawing. I'm not quite sure what it is.
I will ask my question and then turn off.
I'll ask your question anyway.
Yes, yeah. So I'm curious about the Sanskrit word order and how it changes the understanding of the sentence. Just for example, so the question is, if you read it the way it is, just word by word, there for the king the men go. So it could be like, for the king's as the king's emissaries, there for the king the men go. Or if you read it with the other way around, there the men go for, in bracket, like to see the king. So it's not the same meaning. And yet in Pali, we see often the nominative is put at the beginning, not always, I guess, but at the beginning of the sentence. So I would have thought now would have been put at the beginning, and the dative would have just gone right before the verb. Because often in Pali, the accusative, for example, is just before the verb. So I'm sort of confused about how to understand in English the subtleties of the language, and also where we would normally expect to see the nominative in a Sanskrit sentence. Is that too convoluted a question?
No, it was quite a convoluted question, but I followed it totally, and I followed you through each convolution and have arrived at the end.
Probably better than I did.
Okay, the first thing that struck me when considering your question is, firstly, without thinking about word order too much, I'll come to that in a moment. I'm not wriggling out of it. Before contemplating word order, just see what the case endings are, so you can detect what the syntactical function is in a nominative, dative, accusative, all the rest of it. The location of the nominative, yeah, it tends to come at the beginning, but remember that in Sanskrit, it's the same. Anyone who studied Latin will remember that, you know, the word order isn't that central, not as in English, where, you know, everything depends on word order. You do find certain patterns, but it's never conclusive, or very rarely conclusive, in the same way as it would be in English. If a noun is unmistakably in the nominative, as in narah here, in a sense, it doesn't quite matter where it goes, because you know that it's the subject of the verb. It's the nominative. The next thing is, you could equally say, would be perfectly correct to say, naras tatra niripaya gachanti. You could put the nara at the beginning of the sentence, and it wouldn't make any difference to the meaning. So let's say you have a normal sequence of subject, object, verb, which is the normal order. If you vary that order, you tend to vary the order just to emphasize something a little bit more. For example, you can say in English, I don't want that. However, if you change it, that I do not want, you know, you're kind of emphasizing something. And it's the same kind of thing in Sanskrit. Also bear in mind that we're only on lesson 5. If you're going, okay, in the dative, to or for somebody, giving to, doing something on somebody's behalf, I hope I'm jumping a little bit ahead here. If you're doing something for the sake of somebody else, going for the king, In more advanced Sanskrit, you tend to say on the king's order or on the king's behalf. The nriparthaya for the artha, for the sake of the king. There are different ways of doing it. And if you're going to somebody, yes, we've learned you can use a verb of motion with the accusative means to something. If you're going to a person, you can still do that. And that's all we've seen so far in Eganus, which is right. But you tend to use a slightly more complex thing. You say, Nripasya samipam gacchati, he goes to the closeness of the king, meaning he goes to the king. So the way it's being put here is a little bit, you know, the cat sat on the mat level of Sanskrit. We will come to the more complex bits soon enough, or maybe not soon enough for some of you. But anyway, rather than worrying about the word order, really focus closely on the case endings to see what the function of the noun is in the sentence.
Okay, thank you.
My answer, I think, was almost as convoluted as your question.
But I got my face back.
You got your face back. That makes it worth it. So I was just about to say something else, which has just left my mind now. Yeah, okay, if you want to say yes, as I said, you can equally say naras tatra nripaya gachanti, or nripaya tatra nara gachanti. All this slight different, essentially the same meaning. So the question that you've asked actually is almost too advanced for the level that we're at. Ask the same question when we're dealing with the Bodhicharya Avatara next time round. We'll find some very interesting juxtapositions and alterations and all. Ask your question again next time.
Okay, if I remember, thank you.
So next one then, who's next? Yes, Kath, for sentence C.
Okay. Virau tishtata vadatahcha. Oh, that was without the sandhi. Virau tishtato vadatascha. The two heroes stand up and speak.
Ah, interesting.
Or is, I'm not sure about the verb form here. No, I'm not sure.
What verb form aren't you sure about?
The tishtata and the vadata.
What makes you uncertain? Because you got the virau, which you correctly translated as the two heroes.
Yeah, I guess I've just forgotten the dual. That's the dual form then.
It is the dual, yes.
Forgotten it. Yeah, I've just forgotten it.
Okay, so that's simply the dual form. To help you fix it in your mind, say it in the plural.
The whole sentence in the plural.
The whole sentence. We'll put the noun into the plural, and of course the verbs have to follow.
Virah tishtanti vadanti cha.
Well done. Now with the sandhi.
So that would be tishtata vadata.
No, I'm thinking that you need to make a change at the end of virah, because you've got the visarga followed by a ta.
Oh, yes. So it's Virash.
As with an ordinary S, followed by dental T.
Virastishtata.
Virastishtanti.
Virastishtanti.
Virastishtanti vadanticha.
Virastishtanti vadanticha.
That's it. That's it. Now, you said stand up. They stand up and speak. Actually, to say stand up, it would be uttishtanti. If it's tishtati, tishtanti in plural, tishtati just means is standing.
Oh, right.
And just as in English, standing is like static, but standing up is a movement to get up normally from a sitting position, you stand up. That's the difference between English, to stand and to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
In Sanskrit, you have the same difference. Tishtati is like the static, standing, and uttishtati is to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just go on to screen share. Screen share. I'm trying to see. Okay, is my screen shared?
Yes.
Good, thank you. My pencil. Oh, there we are. So an ut, the prefix ut, which is actually cognate with our English out, but it means both of out and up. So uttishtati it would mean stand up. And the exactly the same in Pali. Wolf put in Sanskrit as the pratica samutpada. The utpada is the arising. Utpada. It's a very common prefix. And tishtati, remember, one emphasis of its effectively static connotation, it's often used just to mean to be there, to be located in a place. So there we are, tishtati, uttishtati, and yet.
Thank you.
Right, pratica. As you see, some utpada, the arising, and the samutpada suggests arising and forming itself. And of course, in Pali, we know this. Is the pratica samutpada. Right. Thank you, Kath.
Thank you.
Right, Christine, you're next.
Okay, here we go. Am I all right there?
Yes, you are.
Coming through clearly. Okay. Mrigal Patra Vazanti. With the Sandhi, Mrigash Tatra Vazanti.
Okay. It's Mrigas Tatra. It's not Mrigash. It would, and the deer would be Mrigash with a sh, but it's followed by dental T, so it's Mrigas Tatra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mrigas Tatra.
And can you say Vasanti again?
Vasanti.
Vasanti, right. I got the slight impression the first time around you pronounced it like a Z sound.
Vasanti.
Vasanti. Yeah.
Right.
Good.
The deer, plural, go there.
The deer, sorry?
The deer go there.
Ah, Vasanti.
Oh, live. Sorry.
They live there.
The
Yes.
deer live there.
Very good. But that was so easy. I know you'd feel disappointed if I passed on to the next person now.
Gosh.
So why don't you say the two deer live there with the two elephants?
Oh my God. Okay. Murgao. Gajao. With, sorry. Gerjabyam.
Gajabhyam, very good. Yes.
Saha. Vasanti.
Ah, two deer.
Oh, sorry. Vasata.
Vasata. Yes.
Vasata.
Okay, now say it all in a smooth and flowing way.
Oh my God. Okay, rally the brains around. Murgao. Gajabyam Saha. Vasanti.
Yes.
Vasanti.
Yes, very good. Very good indeed. Right, excellent. I'll let you off now.
Okay, I'm going to give you another excuse. I very carefully did exercise 5 because I hadn't written down anything for that.
Oh.
I thought, oh, I've done my homework.
Ooh.
I hadn't. So good, thank you.
So is it my mistake or yours? Didn't we do exercise 5 last time?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
And I forgot.
Ah, okay. Right. So, Chris, your turn.
Right, hello. Kutra Balambiam Saha Nipra Gachati. And the Santi is Kutra Balambia Saha
Sorry.
Nipro Gachati.
Right. You're tending to pronounce, if the word ending in a short vowel, you're tending to pronounce it long.
Yeah.
You say kutra balabhyam saha nripo gachati.
Yeah. And that means, that translates to, where does the king go with the two boys?
Right. And so what if the boys were in the plural?
That would be Kutra Bala Biach Saha Nipra Gachati.
It's actually the instrumental plural.
Yeah.
Balai.
Yeah.
So kutra balai saha.
Alahi Saha. Yeah.
Balai saha.
Yeah.
So read that sentence out now, again, as it is in the book, with Santi, but with particular attention to keeping the final short vowels short.
Okay. Kutra Balabhyam Saha Nipro Gachati.
Very good, yeah. The longs and the shorts were perfect there.
Yeah. James, while you're there, can I just ask you a very quick question about?
Please.
I'm with the Tibetan meditation group on a Thursday night, and I've been looking at the Lexi Logos multilingual keyboard for Tibetan.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was really surprised to find was that many of the consonants and vowels seem to be very similar to what we have in Sanskrit, even though the script is very different from Devanagari. I was wondering if you could say anything about that.
Right, let me just...
Similarities between Tibetan and Sanskrit.
Hang on, let me just call up the Lexilogos Sanskrit. Here we are. Okay, you should have it on shared screen now.
Yeah.
Okay. So your comment, many of the, sorry, you were saying...
I was surprised to see that so many of the vowels and consonants seem to be similar. Although obviously the script is different, the vowels seem to be...
Okay.
At least a superficial level.
Yeah. So, sorry, I meant to do a bar there. I put a dot. What's the bar? Where do we get the bar? Where's the dot? Didn't go in the right place. The dot's meant to be on the top. Never mind. Yeah. First of all, the Tibetan script is a variety of Devanagari.
All right.
Yes, it's modeled on the Devanagari script. For example, if I can, let me just come to my shared screen again. Oops, sorry. Technology is playing me up again. So for example, we have the Sanskrit ta, and we have the Tibetan ta. And it might not look like it obviously, but it is in fact the same letter. The Tibetan, for example, the Tibetan ch is modeled on the Sanskrit ch. The Tibetan aspirated ch. Look at the Devanagari one and the Tibetan one ch. So you can see that it's just the script has evolved. It came out of India at a certain period in manuscript form. So it's a bit like, almost like Latin to Gothic. They're substantially the same form, but they've varied over the centuries. And the Tibetans have actually modeled their grammatical categories on Sanskrit. And so we've got certain vowels, certain consonants that they've, as it were, Sanskrit doesn't have a z, sorry, a z, and the letter for j. So they've invented extra letters that the Devanagari doesn't have. But look at this one. Devanagari, r, that's a r, you see?
Right.
And Devanagari for the l is that. Oops, sorry. And if you look at the Tibetan, it's this. You can see how the Tibetan evolved from the Devanagari. So the position is that although they're entirely different languages from two totally separate language groups, nevertheless, the Tibetan writing is modeled on the Devanagari script.
Wow.
Mm. So as you're studying Tibetan, go slightly into soft focus, as it were, and see, sorry, let me bring my screen back, and see how that actually various letters, most of the letters of Tibetan, you can see how they trace back to Devanagari shapes. Mm.
Wow.
Yeah. So you said you're actually you're learning Tibetan, are you?
Not. It was just out of general interest, James. I'm with Roy's Tibetan meditation group, which Zoom meets on Thursday nights. This evening, in fact. So I've what we're just looking at some Tibetan text. I just went into Lexi Logos and was a bit surprised to see the similarities.
Oh yes, yeah.
But I thought that the script itself seemed to be completely different from Sanskrit, but it's obviously not.
No, not at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks very much.
In fact, if you're learning Tibetan script and Devanagari at the same time, it's useful to have them side by side.
Yes, I can certainly do that with two different machines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And also the Tibetans, to make the retroflex, in Sanskrit we have a t, yeah, a t, and the t. What the Tibetans do is just invert it, turn it round. So that's a t, and that's a t. Just invert it. And the same with the N. For example, look. That's the Tibetan. That's the Sanskrit. Mani as in Om Mani Padme Hum.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes.
So, sorry. Oops. Look at this now. This Devanagari na. Oops. So this thing is mucking me about. Tibetan n. Devanagari n. So
yeah.
That's no. The Tibetan just turns it round, makes kind of reverse image of itself. It's
Gee.
And the E, you can see this E here is the same as the Sanskrit E.
Yeah.
That little curl on the top. Right. Good luck with your Tibetan. I better stop going down this rabbit hole too far. Much as I enjoyed it. Right. Charan, it is your turn now for sentence F, if you please.
Hello, hello everyone. I'm obviously new. I've just started today.
Right. So I was wondering if I'd recognize you. Well, welcome to the class then.
Thank you. So I'm totally doing this unprepared.
Okay.
But I shall have a go. So we're doing number 5.
And that's sentence F. Letter
Sentence
F.
F. Right. Sorry. So that's Rama Ashvam Putram Prichati. Or in joined up, it's Ramoshvam Putram Prichati.
Right. Now, the first thing I notice about what you say, the way you say it, is we are now hearing the authentic sound of Sanskrit coming out.
Oh.
As if it's deep within your heritage. I mean, that came out effortlessly.
Oh, that's very nice of you to say that. Thank you.
Well, it's very nice of you to let us hear it.
Right. So I shall attempt it. So I usually find the verb first, and in this case it's prichati, which is to ask, and it's in the singular. So someone is asking something.
Yes.
So we look for the nominative, and this someone is Rama. So Rama is asking. Now I'm then struggling. I know Putram is a son, and I am guessing it must be in the accusative. But Ashwam, I'm struggling. Like, is that a horse?
It is a horse.
It is a horse. And
yes.
I'm like, okay, so Rama is asking. asking, I mean, it seems asking the son.
Yes.
You can't say the son of the horse. I mean, that doesn't make sense.
No. Okay. The verb pritcheti is one of those verbs that can take a double accusative, like vedati.
Okay.
If you are talking to somebody about something, you can take a double accusative. If you are asking somebody about something, again, they can both go into the accusative.
Okay.
Now, armed with that information, you should now get it right.
Right. So Rama Pritchati, that's fine. And so if it's so Pritchati is taking another accusative. Oh, so double accusative. So what? I don't know grammar very well. So Rama is asking the son and the horse. I mean, no, that doesn't make sense.
He's asking the son about the horse.
Oh, about the horse.
Yes.
So why is it in an accusative and not in a dative then, if it's about something?
It wouldn't be in the dative any. It would. I mean, you could have the locative.
Okay.
But it's just that one way of just one way in Sanskrit idiom of doing it. If you're talking to somebody about something, in English we'd have to have about, but in English you're saying something, someone. You have to in English you have to say something to someone. But it's just under Sanskrit idiom, the verbs. There are several verbs like pritchati, badati. There are several more that can take two accusatives. Note that Ramoshvam putram pritchati. I did say earlier that word order is not usually that important in Sanskrit. However, there are cases where it is, because when you have a verb like pritchati, vadati, the person who is being asked tends to go immediately before the verb, and the thing he's being asked about tends to come before. So if you said Rama putram ashvam pritchati, that would tend to mean he's asking the horse about the boy, simply because of word order, even though they're both in the accusative. So this is a case where the word order can make a difference, and here obviously it does make a difference.
Thank you.
Mariano.
Okay. I the way I translated it was asked the boy, the son, for the horse. How would you say it in Sanskrit? Rather than about, for the horse, to bring me the horse.
Okay, we tend to use a different verb. To like yachati or something. Yachati is to ask to be given something. You tend to have different verbs. I mean, in English we say ask can mean as in asking a question, or to ask for and ask to be given something. Several languages. In Italian, would you use domandare for both?
Domanda il cavallo. You could say domanda il cavallo. It sounds a bit, but it is understood. We don't say domanda come sta il cavallo. Domanda come, it is asking after. Domanda il cavallo. It is very imperative. Domanda il cavallo. It means don't muck with me. Give me the
Okay, let's not go too far down that rabbit hole then. Okay, there's some language you suggest. In English we have ask, or for example, if you say inquire, that's different. If you can ask for something, you can ask has two meanings. If you demand it or you inquire about it, those verbs have separate meaning. To inquire, there's just asking a question. to demand something, I want that thing. You want requesting information. So in Sanskrit, again, you tend to use two different verbs. May I ask, Charan, do you speak any of the Indian languages as a native speaker?
So I grew up in Malaysia.
Okay.
I was born to Punjabi-speaking parents.
Right.
But obviously grew in an environment where Punjabi wasn't spoken outside the house. Yeah.
Now, what led me to ask that was that your pronunciation sounded so like pure, genuine, native Indian pronunciation. So that's obviously where you got it from your Punjabi-speaking parents.
Yeah, I think too, I got it probably from being taught to read the scriptures of the Sikh scripture, Guru Granth Sahib. Don't know if you're familiar with that.
Guru Granth Sahib, yes.
Yes, I mean, it has got various languages across the Indian subcontinent in it. And I was taught it as a child. I never understood a word of it. I finished the whole book. So I think somewhere in my muscle memory, there must be, these sounds that have stayed.
Well, I mean, you have conclusively proved to us that they have stayed very, very accurately.
Thank you. So
everybody, please treat Charan as a perfect role model for how it's pronounced.
That's pressure.
Good, thank you, Charan. Right, sorry, I'm losing count. Have we come to you, Chris, yet?
Yeah, I asked the question about the Tibetan.
Oh, of course, yes, yeah.
And I did sentence 6E, James.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Somehow the order of your screens has become mixed up. Well, that leads us then to Bhante Yushi. Bhante Yushi.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, Bhante. Can you do sentence G for us, please?
Tatra gajaha nattishtanti. Sandhi tatra gaja nattishtanti. The elephants do not stand there.
Right. Right. Can you say
yes?
The two horses and the two elephants do not stand there.
Tatra gajau nattishtatah.
That's the two elephants, yes.
Yes.
Right.
What about elephants?
The two horses and the two elephants are not standing there.
Tatra aswau nattishtatah. Two horses
and the two
do not stand there. Two elephants. Okay. The tatra aswau gajauche nattishtanti.
Okay, excellent. That's correct.
Thank you.
Now, here we got tatra is there, and here is atra. Now, I want you to say the two horses are standing here, but putting atra as the second word. The two horses here stand. It's not in the book.
Okay. Atra, the aswau tatra nattishtatah.
Okay, very good. Now, can you do it? This now is a slightly trick one. I'm not sure if we've come to it yet, but anyway, we've come to it now. Say the same sentence but putting atra as the second word in the sentence. So the two elephants here stand. Sorry. Yeah, okay. The two elephants here stand.
Two elephants here stands. Atra gajao
No, sorry, atra as the second word in the sentence.
Okay. Gajao atra natishrataha. Okay.
Now say it with sandhi. This is the tricky one.
Gajavatra.
Excellent. Yeah, okay. You have, well done, Bhante. You have passed the trick test.
Thank you.
A word ending in au followed by a vowel, the au becomes av. So it'd be gajav. Bhante, you got it absolutely right. Gajav atra. When you're learning to read Devanagari, well, you already are learning to read Devanagari. And when I started, I got into these awful problems. Gajav atra. Remember, you have to run the words together. It's Gajav atra becomes Gajavatra in the Devanagari script. And you can get yourself into a terrible twist. Because I understand Gaja, elephants. What is Vatra? It's Gajavatra, Gajau atra. So this is one of the things you've got to be alert to. Ancient India gave us, unimaginable spiritual, literary, and linguistic wealth. But I have a serious complaint about you, ancient India. That's the way you've run all the words together in the Devanagari script. It makes it a little bit difficult. Actually, this reminds me, scripts making things difficult. And you may know this, Bhante, that when Christian missionaries first went to Japan to try and turn the Japanese into Christians, they were convinced, because of the difficulty of the Japanese writing, the combination of the Chinese characters and your native script, they were convinced that the Japanese writing was an invention of the devil, and that the devil had deliberately invented the difficulties of the Japanese script in order to prevent Christianity coming to Japan.
Yeah, I see.
Mind you, maybe the real reason they had difficulty in converting the Japanese, the Japanese already had something that was perfectly good, or dare I say it, even better.
That's funny.
Right. So, Janet, I think you're the only one left.
Oh dear, I'm not so quick on my feet on this. So, which one are we at now?
That's H, sentence H.
My pronunciation too is not so good.
Okay, don't worry. When you finish, I'll ask Charan to read it out for us.
Oh,
in this
lovely.
kind of beautiful, authentic accent.
Maybe she could read it first, and I could. Oh, Vira, Nirpam, Balam, Vedati. And then Vasandi, Viro, Nirpam, Balam, Vedati.
So did you say Balam?
Balam.
Remember
Balam. Balam. With the long A, Balam.
Yeah.
Balam.
Now, be very careful about that, because they're two entirely different words. Bala means strength. Strength or force is bala, whereas bala is a child.
Okay. So the hero Viro speaks Vadati, and then the accusative Balam to the boy, and then it's another accusative, so that would be about the king.
About
So
the king, yeah.
The two accusatives, as you were saying earlier, for these words, some of these verbs. Yeah.
Right. So that is here, of course, you could logically change the order and still finish up with a logical sentence. So, Viro balam nripam vadati, the hero speaks to the king about the boy.
But it means speaks to the boy about the king, or it speaks to the king about. So it changes the semantic meaning of the sentence.
It changes the meaning, but normally the person you're speaking to tends to go immediately before the verb.
Right.
It's the same with prichati, to ask. So how would it be then if it were to say the hero is talking to the boy about kings in the plural?
So that would be accusative plural masculine. Kings. He said Niran. Near Palm. It's long AN ending.
That's correct,
I don't know how to say it. Near Pan. I don't know how to say it.
Nripan.
So that would be the boy singular speaking.
Yeah. So
the hero speaking to the boy singular about the kings.
Yeah.
That's So everything would be the same in the sentence except for the Nirpam. It goes to Nirpan. Nirpan.
Also, another thing. So first of all, can you just say the sentence smoothly now as it appears in the book?
As we were first given, Viro, Nirpam, Balam,
Badati, right. Now, one thing, I know it's actually awfully difficult, and one of the things I found most difficult when I was starting is the difference between the aspirated and the non-aspirated. Because in English, we tend to speak with a strong aspirated p, and a native English speaker will find it a bit difficult to say pa. They tend to say pa. In the north of England, in Yorkshire, they find it easy. Any Yorkshiremen here, northerners, can Bill, yes, is it right to say, you can say pipe. It doesn't come out with such a puff of air. So can you unmute, Bill?
Did you say bike?
I said say pipe.
Oh, pike. Hey, bagum, there's a pike.
Hey, bagum, there's said. So can you say, for instance, Bill, say nripa.
Nripa.
Okay. Now, Janet, say nripa, the same way that Bill said it.
Nripa.
A little puff was coming out. Charan, you say nripa.
It's nripa. The R is because your tongue has to touch the roof of your mouth. So nripa.
With a nripa. Okay, now say the word for sin, papa. Say papa, Charan.
Papa.
Papa. You see, it's not a p, it's a pa. Papa.
Nripa.
Nripa. And if you do something that an Indian doesn't like, the Indian will often say to you, the Hindi speaker, "Wo bada paap hai." That is a big sin. "Wo bada paap hai." I'm sure you know that phrase, Charan. Bada paap hai.
Thank you.
Actually, I remember one Indian said that to me once, and I'd done something slightly wrong, and he said, "Wo bada paap hai." I said, "Nee, wo chota sa paap hai," only a little sin, but I don't think he quite got it. A paap was a paap, can't have a little one. Right, so we are coming. Hang on, nearly time, but we can finish off this page, I think. We're back to the beginning of the circle. Mariano, you were at the beginning of the circle.
Anti-lucky. All right. Mrigai asvai cha saha gaja vasati. And now with the Sandhi. Mrigai rasvai cha saha gajo vasati. The elephant lives together with the deer and the horses.
Right, very good. And what would it be if it was the elephant living with 2 deer and 2 horses?
Okay, so it would be Mrigabhyam and Asvabhyam.
It would, yes, absolutely correct. Mrigabhyam ashvabhyam chasahagajo vasati.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
You were mentioning the difficulties of the writing and so on. I came across, but confusing, because I came across Avochad Bhagavan, and in one script it was a D with the 2 wiggles, and in another one it was the D with the strange B, the aspirated B on the side, which is preceding the letter, basically attached on the left, which is even more confusing because actually the B comes afterwards. Yeah, so when you start reading that one, you come across this strange combination, and you say, what the heck are they doing here? So probably they didn't want to become Jesuits either, you know.
So you were asking about a D followed by a, as in Avachad Bhagavan.
Or sometimes you find just a B maybe. And in both cases, normally you will find that the D has got on the left the seed of the following letter.
So the what for the following letter?
Well, I call it the seed, you know, the part the part that actually identifies.
Okay, the identifying part. I hadn't heard it called a seed before.
Well, you know,
bija.
Liberties.
So I wish you had a screen to share with me. Is it? Were you talking about?
Yeah.
Like that.
One is that one. The other one was just a B. You remember a circle with the slash in the middle, because it was a simple B. But on another occasion, I found actually the D with the 2 wiggles, and then the following letter, you know, was a B or something. So I don't know whether it is possible to use both, or whether when the words are closely related, maybe you've got to use, you know, the combination. But it is horrible anyway, because, you know, the attached letter comes afterwards, and it is confusing. And if there is an I after the letter as well, it points back to where, you know, it's, yeah, you see what I mean.
Regard it as all part of the joy of learning Sanskrit.
All right.
The achievement when you've got there.
Okay.
I wasn't. I think I mostly followed what you were saying, but I mean, this shape that I'm circling here, is this the shape that you were talking about?
The other one was with a normal B, so you got the little circle with the slash in the middle.
This?
No, there is the normal D, and then there is on the left a little circle with a slash, which is
this is a normal D that I'm writing here.
No, the one with the wiggle, yeah, and then on the left attached.
On the left.
Yeah, attached a little circle with the B. You remember last time or 2 weeks ago, I said, what the heck is that? Can they not have 2 Uyghurs instead? And then the following, and you said, I'll have a look around. It happens both with the B and the B, the normal B, yeah?
I'm having some difficulty in follow. I think what might be a good idea, Mariano, if you could kind of email me the shape that you're talking about,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we could deal with it next time.
Yeah, I will, yeah. But it is a grudge that I got with the Sanskrit. You know, it is confusing. It messes up the words.
Well, can I just say something? Sorry. Did you mean,
please, Charan.
Yeah, did you mean the with a v, so dwa, and then the other one was the da? Is that what you were saying?
No, because we came across a combination of in the previous case it was a normal B following a D, and it was written down as a D, and on the left attached there was a little circle with a slash in the. Sorry, it was a V in that case. Yeah.
V, yeah, V.
Yeah, sorry.
The little circle, a circle with a slash will be a B.
Yeah, it was a V. But I've also come across the aspirated B, you know, in the Heart Sutra. Davochad Bhagavan. And it is written, yeah, it is written like James did in the combinational stuff inside of that circle, something similar. And it is confusing, you know, because the preceding letter actually comes afterwards, you know, and then if you got, if it was a P rather than a Pa, it would point back to, you know,
I think,
utterly
Mariano,
confusing.
Yes, if you can just email to me, because I'm a little bit lost. The only things that come out of order are the short E and the R.
Yeah, the short E, the R, possibly the E as well, which perhaps, you know, go on top of the D rather than be on top of the B, or, you know.
Okay, Mariano.
And the U underneath, you know.
You're trying to put everybody off. I think you're just enjoying.
No, I am hating it, not enjoying.
You're from Italy. You're used to reading these Roman marbles, where everything is simply written in block capitals, very clear block capitals, one letter following the other.
We wouldn't read in my family. We were illiterate, you know, so I didn't have the problem.
Just feel thankful that you aren't a 16th century or 17th century Jesuit attempting to learn Japanese.
All right, okay. I bear that in mind.
Okay, actually, we've come now to the end of the time. So if you want to email that to me, what you mean, Mariano, and I will attempt to resolve it next time round.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully some of you will be encouraged to show your faces next time. I haven't yet decided to call people up. I won't do that. I won't do that. Not yet, anyway. But I know that we have several people. For example, Ashvina, I know that you are going to have a lovely pronunciation as well, living in Pune.
Ah, yeah. What about writing Advaita? That is easy for you.
Advaita?
Yeah. Go on.
Hmm?
What I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, look at that one. What a beauty. Bye-bye.
Advaita, the non-dual Advaita. Isn't the Advaita Vedanta and so on?
Yeah, one gets there and says, scratch right, scratch left. What the heck is that one?
Is that why all your hair's fallen out, Mariano?
Yes.
Okay. see some of you. I'll see some of you for the Pali class at 2.
All right.
Okay. See you then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.